Hi, welcome to your channel, Generous, Gracious and Gallant. I'm your host, Dr. Ghosh, and I'm back today with another truly inspirational and motivational story for all of you. In the last video uploaded on the channel, I had shared with you the inspirational story of Irina Schindler, the Polish humanitarian nurse who was responsible for saving the lives of over 2,500 children and indirectly another 1,500 Jewish men, women, and children by providing them places to hide, false documentation, medicines, support. In that video, which you have responded to very well and liked, I had committed that my next video will be about another World War II hero who saved the lives of multiple Jews. His name, Wilhelm Hosenfeld, a school teacher prior to the war and later drafted in the German officer as a captain Hauptmann in the German army. He helped several Jews in Nazi-occupied Poland, notably Warsaw and other areas, with false documentation, employment, hiding spaces, and other support. Notably among the people who he saved among the Jews was the Jewish pianist and composer Ladislaw Zeppelin, who he helped survive in the ruins of Warsaw during the last months of the 1944 war. He was taken a prisoner of war by the Soviet Red Army and died in captivity undergoing torture in 1952. The movie The Pianist, which was released in 2002, highlights his story. Hosenfeld was born on 2nd May 1895 to a pious Roman Catholic teacher near Fulda. He was very influenced by the Catholic character, charitable work, church-inspired social work, and also by Prussian obedience and German patriotism. Later, when he married, he was greatly influenced by his wife, who was a pacifist, followed pacifist ideals, her name Annie Maria. 1914 to 1918, he served in World War I. He was in active service. He was severely wounded and won the Iron Cross second class. He was drafted during World War II into the Wehrmacht, the United Armed Forces of Germany, and he served there from 1935 to 1945. In 1939, he was stationed in Poland, and mid-39 to the capture by the German army in 17 January 1945, he was based out of Warsaw. Now, you have to understand that he was a person who was a pacifist and he was also influenced by Catholic ideals. His first destination in Germany was Nice, where he set up a prisoner of war camp. He set an exemplary example of being kind to prisoners of war during his service there. December 1939, he was moved to Vigro. In May 1940, he was moved to Jedo. In July 1940, transferred to Warsaw with the unit Wach-Bataillon, which was the Guard Battalion 660, part of the Wach-Regiment of Warsaw, Warsaw Guard Regiment, as a staff officer and battalion sport officer. He had been a member of the Nazi Party till 1935, but however, he grew disillusioned when he saw the rough treatment of the Jews and the way people were being exterminated. He and many other staff officers and officers of the German army were delusioned by Hitler and his extermination of the Jews. He started taking steps to help the Jews in Warsaw. He hid many Jews. He gave many Jews documentation. He was a battalion sports officer, and managing the stadium there. He employed many Jews under false name in the battalion, Jewish battalion stadium, and allowed them to survive out the war. He provided medical support. He also befriended several Poles, learned the language. He attended Mass, received communion, and went on to confess in Polish churches. This was forbidden, therefore, his career in the army was more or less checkered. He also helped several Jews. This came to the notice of his fellow German officers, and he was several times treated as an outcast by his fellow German officers. Early 1939, he also started pushing for early release of Polish officers. He was also responsible for allowing the prisoner of war access to the families, which was specifically forbidden. He used his position as a battalion sport officer to hide Jews and other prosecuted people by getting papers for them and getting them jobs in the stadium. Pianist Vladislav Pillman, who he hid in the Warsaw during the last few months of the war, was also notability very grateful to Wilhelm for his support. He finally surrendered to the Soviet Red Army 30 kilometers from Warsaw with the men of his company post the war. He was sentenced to 25 years hard labor, as many crimes were attributed to the unit he was affiliated. He wrote a letter to his wife in 1946, and he told her he had saved many Jews and he requested that she fight for his release. Pianist Ladislav Pillman, who Hosenfeld had sheltered, tried to secure his release. But despite his best efforts, he could not secure his relief. Finally, in frustration, he went to the head of the Polish secret police, Jacob Berman, who was supported by Stalin. He hated this head of secret police, but he went there to request for Hosenfeld's release. But Jacob Berman did not support him. Pillman, the pianist, never believed Berman's claim and stated, "And so I approached the worst rogue of the lot, and it did no good." Despite all efforts by his wife, also our friend Wilhelm Hosenfeld continued to suffer in Soviet army prisons. He died in the Soviet army prison on 13th August 1952 at 2200 hours by rupture of the thoracic aorta under torture. He was awarded several awards. He won the Commander's Cross of Order of Polonia Restituta in 2007 and the Righteous Amongst Nations by Yad Vashem in June 2009. An German army officer who saved multiple Jews thanks to his efforts, but unfortunately he died in Soviet prison because his unit was responsible for war crimes, and he paid the ultimate price and died due to thoracic torture in prison. A humanitarian, a gallant human being, an army officer, Wilhelm Hosenfeld has left behind his footsteps in history as a humanitarian and a man who followed the dictates of his conscience. Friends, I'm sure you enjoy these videos which I bring for you on your favorite channel, Generous, Gracious and Gallant. I request you once again, kindly subscribe to the channel, Generous, Gracious and Gallant. My next video on the channel will be about a Nepali Sherpa who has ascended the summit of Mount Everest 27 times. Till we meet again, my friends, good luck, all the best. Hi, welcome to your channel,